Allison, she's alive. She's back.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of What to Watch.
We're excited to talk about the return of the Wolfpack in Teen Wolf the movie.
Joining us today is none other than Ian Bohen, who you may recognize as Peter Hale from the original Teen Wolf series. I'm Rex Ravita.
I'm Savannah Jones.
And you're listening to KRLD's What to Watch.
When I heard that we were going to make a film and all be able to get back together, of course, I was ecstatic. You know, any actor getting to reprise a role after such a long layoff, about 5 years, it's very flattering. And then, of course, you think that you're going to get to be with your buddies again and do the same things in the same place, Atlanta, where we started. You just get giddy and you can't wait. You know, you're counting the days until you can get there and hug and kiss everybody, and then get back on set in your costumes and live in those characters again. So, you know, it was a dream come true, and we're hoping that we can make many more.
Yes, so it's been a long time since, you filmed something for Teen Wolf. How has Peter Hale changed since the last episode of the series?
That's something we all talk about, because there's a time to, not a delay, whatever you call it, time cut between when we finished the series and when the movie picks up. So everybody's thinking, well, what has my character done and how have they evolved? Peter's a little different because he's a supernatural, and his age isn't really like a normal accountable thing. He's 200 years old. So that's what I've been thinking about, is how different is he? And a lot of that is based on what Jeff has written in the script. Those are my cues. And to be honest, he hasn't changed a lot. He's mellowed. And I think he's hopefully gotten a little bit easier to deal with, because most of his problems from the series have been sort of solved. So I think he's going to be a little bit more charming, a little less violent, and hopefully a little bit friendlier to Scott and the pack.
So is the film a continuation of the final season, or is there any sort of new direction that it's taking, or how did that work out?
There is several years of time cut between where the story in the series ended and where we pick up. Some of the characters have kids. Some of the characters aren't there anymore. So we have the history and everything that has happened, and a lot of that is alluded to, but it really is a completely new story with a new direction, taking all of the history with us, if that makes any sense.
For sure. And you kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, talking about getting into costumes. So what is the process of you turning into a werewolf? Is it like prosthetics? Is it CGI? Like, what is that whole process?
There's different phases and stages of it depending on how far you transform. My character, Derek Hale's character, played by Tyler Hoechlin, we can all transform into, I think even Scott can go into a full wolf. And then we can do versions of it where we just have teeth and eyes. We have it where we put the prosthetics on. You have the lines in the brow and the ears. And so it can be anywhere in between. And it depends on sort of the level of ferocity of the fight that we're doing. And different characters change in different ways. Also, like, my character in the first season, you saw when the Alpha changes, he's 9 feet tall, kind of gray, and doesn't even look almost human-like at all. So it's anywhere on that scale, depending on what the story is. And you're going to see all of those in this movie by certain people, one way or other, all the way around.
So your character Ryan on Yellowstone is a fan favorite, very lovable character. And then your character Peter Hale on Teen Wolf is more the villain. So for you personally, which do you like being more, the good guy or the bad guy?
Generally, I will say playing a perceived villain is more fun than playing a good guy, because you have to figure out ways to justify the bad behavior and the things that the character does without judging them. And that's a fun ride to take in an experiment, to look at, Peter Hale was murderous and he was a ruthless killer of seemingly innocent people, but we sort of forgave him, and he was we gave him a little bit of slack as the seasons went on because of the way he behaved. And if you don't do that, then you just have a cookie cutter bad guy, and that's no fun. A good guy is great, but it's kind of a straight through line. It's simple. It's a lot of fun as well. It's just a different kind of roller coaster, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I've seen it before in interviews where people are like, playing the villain is so much more fun than playing a good guy, just because of the depth of the character. So
It is.
Mhm.
And then especially when you play off in Teen Wolf, like when I would have scenes with Styles and Scott, who are just like the prototypical good guy, golden people, and then you put in Peter with them and the dynamic of them playing off. I mean, those scenes to me were funny and light and charming because of the differentiation between the two. And I think that's what makes drama exciting and interesting. And when I look back at some of those early seasons, I really chuckle at the dynamic in those characters.
Yeah, so we have to touch on this. After the trailer premiere, fans were disappointed to see that Dylan O'Brien, he didn't return as Styles. Is there any info that you can give us about why he didn't come back?
I haven't spoken to him about it. And so I don't know. I'm as curious as everyone else. If you think there's a lot of people that didn't make it back. Daniel Sharman didn't come back. The twins, Max and Charlie, weren't there. So, I could probably list a dozen people, and everybody's busy in life. Dylan, especially, that he's a movie star. He's traveling. It just, for one reason or another, didn't work out. So I wish I had the scoop, but I don't know.
So there are some new faces, correct?
Yes, there's some new characters. I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't seen it yet, but we have new supernatural beings and bad guys, and we have some old returning ones that are going to be really surprising at the end. People are going to go, oh my gosh, you're kidding me, that person is here doing this. So it's something that everyone has to really tune in to on the 26th on Paramount Plus and watch the Teen Wolf movie.
So were there any moments filming this specific film versus the series that really jumped out to you that were memorable?
The entire shoot was memorable, especially being in the woods in Atlanta at night, because we used to do that all the time. And doing that, it was very reminiscent of the end of season 1. And we would kind of look around and see the faces and everybody and think, God, we did this 8 or 10 years ago, and here we are back full circle. So that was a moment of just like, wow, this is great. Life is cool. We're all very blessed and lucky to be here. So let's make the most of it, I would say. And this would be the final act of the film. You're going to see these sequences.
Okay. So are Teen Wolf super fans going to be happy with this story, do you think?
Yes, absolutely. We hit the ground running right from the get-go. There's action and things are happening. And we don't spend too much time hashing up where everybody has been over the course of time and what they've been doing. That's important, but that's not what the movie's about. It's about coming together and solving the problem that we have now. And so there's really not a moment of taking a breath, because at any second, there's danger around every corner. And the diehard fans, all the fans are gonna love it. Even if you've never seen the series, it will still be appealing. And I think at the end of this, people are going to want to know, well, what's next, because we're really in love with the characters and their relationships have gotten stronger. So we're going to want to see them to do more things. And so with any luck, we'll be able to show the fans that later on.
Well, that's actually a perfect segue to our final question, because we were wondering, are there any plans to revive the series or any continuation after the film?
There has been talk of a subsequent season 7. It's very, very complicated for myriad reasons, which I won't get into, but I know that it has been discussed. There's a lot of moving parts to make that happen. It's somewhat easier to get everyone together for the length of filming for a movie. So I know everybody's very interested in that. It's also hard to get it written and produced and get, just get it done logistically. I want that. I will say I would be surprised if we don't do anything more, but I have no reassurances or guarantees. But I feel pretty confident that after the fan reaction from this film, that it will be, there'll be a fire lit under everyone so that they'll work a little bit quicker to get it done.
So now that you've heard a little bit more about the new Teen Wolf movie, will you be tuning in?
It's available to stream now on Paramount+.
For even more exciting TV and movie news and interviews, download the free Odyssey app and subscribe to KRLD News.
Thanks for listening to KRLD's What to Watch.